Hey, everybody, this is Perch. A few of you have written to me asking what I think about Ghost Machine. And, the simple answer is I like it. I've enjoyed the comics quite a bit. I think there's a bigger question about why they're not getting talked about, why it doesn't have the buzz, because this new publishing imprint, which is currently publishing with Image, Ghost Machine, has some of the pretty highest concentrated talent, I think, in comics today. I'm not sure exactly why. It's quieter than it should be, because the books are solid and they're interesting. So if I'm going to run down them real quick, Geiger was kind of what was the start to a lot of this, and it introduced the concept of a shared universe, but a loosely shared universe. It wasn't there's a timeline on the bottom. You go read different stories. And while I'm sure everything in comics has to lead to some kind of team ups and other things down the road, this one feels like it's going to take its time and actually focus on telling good stories before it gets there. So Geiger, coming out first, created this pretty amazing world. Now, full disclosure, I mean, I am a giant sucker for Gary Frank. I love Midnight Nation. I've loved the Big Two work he's done. Again, if you haven't read Midnight Nation, by the way, what are you waiting for? You've got to go look that up. That is a great comic. But Geiger came out. Yeah, my complaint with Geiger is just it felt like it needed double the size. There was a lot of world building there and some pretty interesting stuff. The story moved along at a pretty good clip, but it really needs more depth to go into it. It's solid stuff. Redcoat, which is Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch. One issue out of that. I've enjoyed that as well. The first issue was a lot of setup. You're getting a sense of who this guy is. You get the sense that, he's described as a cheeky mercenary, and we haven't really seen too much of that yet, but the storyline is solid there. There's some interesting things going on, and it's reasonable, I think, what's happened there. Junkyard Joe, I guess, came out before Redcoat. That is another Jeff Johns, Gary Frank. I liked Geiger a lot better than Junkyard Joe. I thought Junkyard Joe was an interesting story, and I thought there was some good kind of character building and other things there, and I could see how the character is going to evolve and everything else. It didn't have the same kind of hit to me, but it was also a smaller, a much smaller kind of story. But if we're looking at the talent that's been assembled here, again, you got Jeff Johns here, you've got Gary Frank, you got Brian Hitch, you got Jason Fabok, you got Francis Manapool, Brad Meltzer's going to be doing some books, Ivan Rice is doing some books, Peter Tomasi is doing some books. There's and a number of others, by the way. But these books feel like they're high quality. And I think, to me, that's, I've talked about comic books, that, like, how many comic books can you enjoy and what is the best way to do it? And I feel pretty confident whenever I pick up one of the Ghost Machine books, I'm getting a story I'm going to enjoy. And there's a few that are going to continue to flesh out more of this world. Now, we're going to see if the quality holds. Because, again, the Jeff Johns stories have been tremendous. Again, I think Redcoat is new, or rather, sorry, it's a Redcoat we haven't really learned enough of to really get a sense of if this story is going anywhere. But the first issue was enjoyable. It was fun. Rook Exodus is coming out. This is a Jason Fabok book. It looks beautiful, and it's hard to tell exactly, again, what this book ultimately is. We've seen a little bit of the solicitations, but the stories, I guess this is the reason why I've been enjoying the Ghost Machine stuff so much, is that it feels different. We're getting stories that are new. It doesn't feel like something we've read over and over. It doesn't feel like a retread. It feels like there's some legitimately new things going on. Now, Common Beats, Geiger is a story of a guy who's tortured and haunted, and is really on his own, loner, and he's up against the world. He's trying to regain his humanity, and Junkyard Joe is a story about a robot trying to regain humanity. And so there's some familiar themes here, no doubt. But it's fun. it's again the premise and the theme feels new. It also doesn't feel like I mean the main character of Geiger is an Indian character, non-white, but it doesn't feel like the comic is trying to make a point over, hey, look, look what we're doing for diversity. It just tells a great story, and you've got this guy in the center of it. Actually, he's not Indian; he's Tariq. Anyway, regardless, um, I'm sorry, it's been a long day, folks, and the important thing here is I am loving these books, and I do suggest you check them out. There's some good things in there. We're going to get a horror story with Hyde Street, which will have Ivan Rice on art. Should be tremendous. I love his stuff. We're getting kind of a Pete Tomasi First Family of the Future, Rockefellers, and that looks like fun. I don't know enough about Hornsby and Halo. That one is a little bit more unknown to me, but again, all these series and where they come together, how they come together. My hope is that Ghost Machine takes time in, if there is any kind of crossover or kind of thing that's going to tie these books ultimately down the road into one. I hope they don't rush into that. I would prefer these things all have a chance to live and breathe, and it is unclear to me. I don't actually believe. I think some of these comics are in a shared universe, some are not. I don't know, but the talent that's been assembled here is solid, and it is what a lot of us have been asking for. We've been asking for new concepts, not the same old stuff, not yet another reboot or spinoff, not a relaunch that feels like the exact same story. And we're gonna trot out the same characters again. The Green Goblin's gonna be in Spider-Man again. Oh, very exciting. And then maybe after that we can have Carnage come by for a symbiote event. And that's over in Batman. Oh, what's the Joker up to? Something bad, I'm sure. What a dick he is. That's the kind of stuff where, we say these things, but then the big two have the stranglehold on the industry that they have because people keep going back to that stuff. And the nice part here is that it is a new universe. It is top talent. It's talent you recognize from the big two. It's people who have delivered some pretty amazing books, and they're telling different stories. And so I think they're worth supporting. Ghost Machine is... It's still too early. It's too new to figure out kind of where it's going to find its legs and where it's going to go. For what it's worth, it's new comics where it does not feel like the creative team are trying to do a back-ended Netflix pitch or some kind of movie pitch. It feels like something that they're, comic story first, tell something new and entertaining is a priority. And I some of these I think would be interesting movies, but they'd be kind of complicated movies to do. So, like all things, like all new IP, there's certainly and we're going to sell it and do more. But you don't really, it doesn't scream off the page in this case, like it does for so many other things. So I'm very optimistic about where this is going. I think the big thing to look for is, when the book isn't written by Jeff Johns, does it still fit in the universe and feel cohesive and good? Can these make money? But the big problem that Ghost Machine has right now is very few people are talking about it. Quite bluntly, it is really, really quiet. Ghost Machine needs to do some aggressive marketing, whether it's online or other places. I think they need to get the word out because they've assembled, again, some of the top talent working in comics, and they're telling new and unique stories, and they're putting heavy amounts of quality into it. The price is not obscene. For the people who are like, some of the talent goes to do crowdfunding, and then I'm paying like $25 for a comic book and waiting a year and a half for it. Well, here you go. You've got something on the shelf. A lot of these series are coming out monthly. So what else do you want? But the thing that the marketing of a Ghost Machine is a problem. They definitely need to get some better PR, or I get more word out there. Or maybe they're just going to grow slowly and quietly. That's okay too. But now is the time when really we should start seeing a lot more press, a lot more attention. So, as a comic reader, as a comic lover, I recommend you go check it out. I think they're good stories. You could probably pick up Geiger in a nice little trade paperback of some sort. that would be a great place to start. Try it. See if you like it. It's kind of a little bit sci-fi, a little bit action, a little bit of horror. Not too much horror, but it's a solid book. And again, I think you get Gary Frank on art. You're not going to go wrong with that. So anyway, are you reading any of the Ghost Machine books? What do you like? What do you don't like? If you read it and you hated it, why? What is it that turned you off on that? What is it that didn't catch you? Would love to hear in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course. And thanks for listening.